AMD stock Monday, June 10th. Stock is down 4.5%, 160. That's where stock closed, 160.34. So what to watch from here and what I'm looking at when it comes to these names. So today, if you take a look at the overall heat map of the market, AMD must be the only name that is down among all the chip makers. I mean, NVIDIA did a split. That's why it's showing that it's 90% down. But in reality, NVIDIA was basically slightly positive, almost like a 1% or so. So AMD, all-time high print, 227. All right. And right here, you can see for the past, let's say, 10, 20 trading sessions, we have been in this channel between 170 and 150, 160, and sort of in a consolidation level. But today it closed below its 50-day simple moving average. That moving average is in a downtrend. And also, let me bring up maybe shorter time frames where 5-day SMA, which is this gray line. Of course, it has been moving sideways because of the stock's choppy move, and you can see the 20-day is still in an uptrend, but stock closed below all of its ultra short term, like 3 moving averages. And right here right now I'm watching 158 as a support right here right now. If we do crack this level, and AMD can come down to these $145, $147 levels. Of course, on the way we're gonna have a little bit of a support at 150 and then 145. So these are the support resistance levels. And another thing I wanted to show you is well, what would you say if we just flip the chart of AMD and look at this chart instead? What would you say? So stock has been basically fallen crazy and then pretty big bounce, and now it's in sort of a pullback consolidation. Would you say that it would go higher, or would you say it would go lower? So AMD right here right now, well, I wanted to show one more thing before we go a little bit further in terms of let's take a look at this picture where quarterly revenue for AMD, market capitalization 260 billion. You can see since January 2022, it's been hovering around this 5.8, 6 billion, and a little bit of a decline right here. And one more thing I was watching in terms of the valuation of this name, and like one thing that many people follow when it comes to fundamentals of any stock out there is free cash flow per share, okay, and price to free cash flow. Okay, so you can see what's going on with AMD right here. Free cash flow has been declining while that ratio has been going up because price has gone up, right? And of course, this is looking at from 2022 late to all the way to 2024. And especially last, let's take a look at just this year alone, where you can see, well, this free cash flow has been declined, but stock has been going up. Revenue hasn't changed much, and among, well, at the moment, AMD has the highest price to free cash flow among all these. This is the comparison that was already out there, and I'm just putting it out just for the perspective. Another stock that trades above 200 free to cash flow is Texas Instruments, right? It's not 200 actually, 192, but everything else in this region were 50s, 30s, 60s. But even AMD itself, if you take a look at its historical free to cash flow, it's like, let's take a look at 5-year, right? 5-year average 172, currently 220 something. Thinkorswim a little bit late, but I think it all depends what they are going to report. Of course, why does that thing matter in general, right? So it's basically their ability to pay their debt, right? And they have enough cash to cover it and maybe some more. And at the moment, that cash is basically sitting somewhere in money markets and generating a small amount of whatever the interest that they are earning. And they have like 6 billion or so. I don't know how much they have. But the point is the next upcoming earnings report they're going to report, where if free cash flow basically declines, doesn't matter how much. Stock can get a pretty big down move. I would say it can go down all the way to these breakout levels of last year, which is let's say 130 was the breakout level, and at the moment we have a support 157. We have 200-day moving average, and I would say that would, if we see come next earnings AMD trading around its 200-day moving average and then earnings support, free cash flow is not what market was expecting it to be, then, well, it would be from this level another 20% decline, not a big deal. 18%, that would be $130 level. So because I think it is a little bit overextended even at these levels, and that's the reason why it's trading the way it's trading. And you can go back to compare the historic numbers yourself, and like how this stock went from like $3, $1.30 back in 2015, 2016. It matters. This is the only thing when it comes to like I'm not like fundamental analyst in general at all. I just want if I'm basically trading for the most part breakouts and breakdowns for any stock. So if fundamentals are backed, I'll show you one example, right? Let's say if you're trading Nvidia, right? Same thing. You would take a look at it and say, well, what's the historic average price to cash flow? And you can see like the price of Nvidia can be justified by the free cash flow per share, record number, versus AMD, why it's not making new all-time highs, right? So, and again, I just wanted to make it a little bit of a like typical video where I just share the levels I'm watching to the upside and downside, but I just wanted to share that part as well, because right here, right now, of course, if they report solid earnings, we can run 170 is your resistance. Okay, so this is to the upside. Since right here, right now, this is the level where, well, it has been up and down, chopping, and basically staying in this range between 160 and 170. If it does break 170, yeah, the next level you would watch would be 182. That's the upside potential for those people who think that the stock can go higher, and that's your resistance level, which it tested many times, and that's where a lot of sellers at the moment. So that's what I'm watching for AMD. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.